On today's show, the most shocking, stunning, insane trade in NBA history happens. Luka Doncic going to the Los Angeles Lakers, and it makes absolutely no sense for so many different reasons. We'll talk about why on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Amazing.
Your team every day.
Still can't eat milk.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being every dayer, listening to the Dallas Mavericks, listening to Locked On Mavs. Today's episode, we will talk about Luka getting traded. An insane, absolutely wild, insane trade that makes absolutely no sense. And joining me, as always, my co-host, media member, and the shocked Sultan. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I don't think I've ever had a sports moment where, I was just truly, I didn't know. I mean, you called me, we're on the phone.
Silence.
It was just like, this isn't real. I mean, I was just like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. It's just truly the most craziest sports trade in my lifetime. Sports, not even saying NBA. And I think it's the craziest NBA trade of all time.
It's absolutely the craziest NBA trade of all time. It is the craziest trade in Mavericks history for sure. And yeah, I called you because I am literally visiting a friend this weekend. I didn't bring any of my stuff with me, so this is not the normal recording. And I did not think that something this insane would happen. This is the only reason why I would be doing a show right now. And I was literally going to be gone for 24 hours, basically. And here we are. But let's get into it. The Dallas Mavericks have traded Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. This is a trade that fundamentally changes the entire outlook of the franchise of the Dallas Mavericks. This is a trade that sends the organization in a complete different other direction. This is a trade that completely alters everything that you're doing as a franchise, as a team, as an organization, as a city, as a fan base, as everything. I mean, Slovenian fans, we appreciated everything you guys did for this show, but I guess you're going on to Locked On Lakers now. It is wild, and it started with Shams just tweeting it out, breaking, the Mavericks have traded, blah, 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 and you thought it was fake. I thought it was fake. So many people thought it was fake. You thought it was fake. I was talking to you, Isaac, on the phone, and then Shams tweeted, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN, blah, blah, blah. It dropped out of nowhere, and apparently it dropped out of nowhere to Luka, too.
Yeah, that's the biggest shock for me. You have a generational talent. When you are roster building in the league, in any sports league, you are trying to find your cornerstone generational talent. The Mavericks found that in 2018 when they drafted Luka Doncic, and he's had one of the best starts to any career that you've seen in an NBA as far as accolades, all the stuff. You've already went to an NBA Finals, two Western Conference Finals. And for you to pull the plug on a generational talent at the age of 25 is something you just don't see. I mean, organizations go decades looking for a guy like Luka. Guys don't get traded like Luka unless it is something later on in their career or it's a dramatic force out. And immediately when it was starting to sink in that this is real, I was like, the Supermax was looming. Then this was something that Bill Duffy and Luka went to Nico and them and said, hey, thanks, but no thanks. And there was stuff behind the scenes that we just didn't know about. And hey, and they were forcing their way out. We're not going to sign the Supermax. We'll ride this thing out till 2026 when the contract expires. But when Mark Stein, the most trusted, well-sourced Mavericks news person there is in the world, says that Luka did not know and Luka did not ask out, I mean, this is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. I mean, I'll just say this is not like this is probably not the most appropriate thing to say. This is the ultimate example of Nico Harrison pulling out his thing and laying it on the table and saying, "I'm in charge." And buddy,
but
like you are in charge, but man, I mean, does Nico like go the grocery for 2 weeks in Dallas? Like,
I sitting here having collected my thoughts for, I don't know, 6 minutes. I cannot believe that Nico Harrison would be this stupid. I can't. Like, I cannot believe that he would trade Luka, whatever else, for Anthony Davis, who's going to be 32 in a couple of weeks, has had an history of injuries, to pair with Kyrie, who is 32, 33, has a history of injuries, Klay Thompson, and whatever they have right now, Lively with a history of injuries and all that. Plus, they only get one first-round pick. They get one kind of young, interesting player in Max Christie. I cannot believe Nico Harrison to be that dumb. That is the worst trade in NBA history, if you look at it, right? And so you start looking through some of the reasons, and McMahon tweeted the first one. Tim McMahon of ESPN said the Mavs had major concerns about moving forward with Luka Doncic due to his constant conditioning issues and looming commitment of another Supermax contract extension. The contract extension is a moot point. Everyone gets that deal. You have to play within the rules of the NBA. Just because a player is going to get the most money ever, you have to play that game. You have to pay that guy that money. That is the player that, like Isaac said, you look for decades. The Wizards are going to be bad for a decade to try and find someone remotely as close to that player, to Luka Doncic. And they won't find one because that type of player only comes around once every 10, 12 years. A Zion came and he didn't hit the mark. Wembanyama has come now, like 7 or 8 years after Luka, and we don't know if he's going to hit the mark, right? It does not happen this often. And then the other quote from Nico Harrison's going on right now, as far as some kind of reason for this trade. He said, "I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future." That's not good enough. I cannot believe that would be the reason. There has to be something else. They have to know his left leg that he's been dealing with issues for over a year is completely cooked. They have to know something. But even if his leg is cooked, they just went to the finals last year and still made it happen. I cannot believe Nico Harrison to be this stupid and this dumb that there has to be some other reason. That's where I land.
Listen, we'll talk about Anthony Davis in a little bit.
Tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Let's talk about Luka right now. And this is insane.
Yeah. I mean, we've been criticized, especially this year, probably the most from like Mavs fans in one single season about talking about Luka that we have so far, because there is no, and I mean, God, it just feels so weird saying like Mavs fans, but it's like it's no surprise that there is frustration across the board that Luka has not stayed in shape. All right.
Hey, breaking news. Anthony Davis waived his trade kicker. Just wanted to let you.
Thanks, AD. And you know, that has been a never-ending thing for years now, seasons now, off seasons now, of Luka coming into shape, coming into season out of shape and all the stuff. That has been a frustrating thing, a tension thing. No, I'm just saying, I'm saying he's obviously, like, that is the source thing that you just read from McMahon.
It's not a good enough reason.
It's not a good enough reason at all. But I'm just saying, like, that has been, it's not like that is a surprising report. That has been known. No. And I think it's been a little bit more frustrating behind the scenes than what has been reported, of just how frustrating it has been seeing, hey, there's potential up here. We've talked about on the show before, like, do you want to be an all-time top 10 guy, or do you want to be like just an all-time great type of guy? And I know, because that's how good he is. Like, he is an all-time great guy. That's the difference.
You don't trade an all-time great guy.
He's already an NBA, in a basketball Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, maybe wearing a Lakers jersey in the Hall of Fame. And guys, I hate the Lakers. I hate them with every bone in my body. And the fact that I got to see Dorian Finney-Smith and Luka Doncic wear Lakers jerseys now, I feel like I'm just in hell. Like, this is just like, I believe in my Lord and Savior, and I believe that I'm going to be in heaven. But man, if there is an idea of what hell looks like, it is this. And there's so many frustrating angles. I mean, we're talking, for people outside of Dallas, like Luka's on billboards, Luka's on, like, there's so much stuff. There's so much people like legitimately asking, how do I tell my kids this? Like, I'm like, my son doesn't know a ton about the Mavs so far. He's 5. I mean, he's 6, but it's just like, I gotta like tell him like, Luka's not on the team anymore.
Isaac's so flabbergasted he forgot the age of his son. Coming up. You come to this show, Locked On Mavs, for some kind of reprieve, some kind of like walk me off the ledge. Everybody says that to me all the time. After bad losses, after weird trades, this is the worst that it's ever been. And I'm going to try to talk you off the ledge. Coming up.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
This podcast is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy VIP treatment, receiving 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standards here with Robinhood Gold. To receive 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up to Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from your first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member of SIPC. Gold memberships offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. This podcast is also brought to you by GameTime. GameTime, guys, we know going to live events is a lot of fun.
Getting to see new players that just got traded to your team is going to be fun.
And at some point, you're going to get to see Max Christie suit up. And it's even better to see him in person. And this is where GameTime comes into play of seeing them in person. GameTime is a new feature called GameTime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Filters out all the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats on thousands of tickets. My favorite feature. So you don't get surprised with all the...
You don't need any more surprises in your life.
Oh, I don't need any more surprises. Any fees and stuff at the end of that. There's all-in pricing you just toggle on. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it, Nick?
It's game time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Oh, thanks everybody for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. Being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day because
that was the hardest ad read of my freaking life.
We're going to have you covered for all kinds of stuff to figure this out and to sort through it. And we'll spend days talking about Anthony Davis, what he brings to the Mavericks, Max Christie, the draft compensation now the Mavs have, the draft compensation, the one pick that they have now extra. We'll talk all about that, what this team is. Like, what is this? What is this? We'll talk about that more tomorrow and the next day, maybe later today and all that. Let's get into this. Everyone's shocked. Everyone's stunned.
What are we doing?
Dirk just tweeted the shocked, eyes wide open emoji. So Dirk probably didn't know. And to talk you off the ledge in some way, if I can, if I'm going to get on my everything is sunshine and roses pedestal here.
Well, BetterHelp's not a sponsor, Nick.
Not today.
Not today.
Look at what the 76ers are going through with Joel Embiid. And if the Dallas Mavericks thought that Luka Doncic is going to be that, do you want to go through that? Do you want to be stuck in that situation? Because there's no other scenario that I can imagine Nico just trading Luka like that and getting the first package that comes to his door, right? Think about the Porzingis trade. The Mavericks got Porzingis for a package that didn't really make a lot of sense, but they had seen his medicals. They had known him for years and knew that he was going to struggle to stay on the court for the rest of his career, and he still has. And it hasn't mattered for the Celtics because they have enough talent, but he's not a all-star player anymore. And if Luka is going to continue to deal with this leg that we've seen for the last year, if it's going to continue to be a problem, that's the thing that I come to. It's like, all right, that's it. It's conditioning plus the leg plus some of the other things that Nico talked about. It still all doesn't add up. No. It still all doesn't add up. But if that's the scenario, then Nico maybe just wanted the reset.
Bobby Marks just tweeted, said, with Anthony Davis waiving his trade bonus.
Oh, I'm so glad he did.
Dallas is now under the luxury tax.
That's what it was. The Adelsons didn't have enough money to pay for it.
They were 5.1 million over the luxury tax. Yeah, I mean, listen, I went into this a little bit at the beginning, or in the first segment.
Dave McMenamin just tweeted
that you left. I'm going to keep going as Nick is remote right now. I think one of the craziest things about this is where it's like super tough for me about Luka not knowing about it is like
my phone is not doing well.
I noticed. I'm carrying on through a thought right now. One of the reasons why I thought for sure Luka knew about this, or there was some type of like, hey, I'm kind of driving the ship a little bit on this, is forcing Dallas's hand, was the return package. And because in my mind, I'm like, all right, every once in a while, you kind of, a few times a year, you kind of like jokingly throw out there. I mean, we've done it a few times of like, hey, what if they put Luka on the market? What would they get? And like,
yeah, just imagine everything that they could get for him.
Well, yeah, we've joked about it, and it's like, oh, they're gonna get like 7 first, and pick swaps and all the different stuff. And
you should own a team's draft for getting rid of Luka, for giving them Luka. You should own it.
And how is this? It's like, but they're like, oh, this is never going to happen, right? And then this trade hits, and that was one of the things that made it so crazy too, is because it's like you're getting Anthony Davis, which is, yes, he's starting the All-Star game, but he's 31, he's injury prone, but it was 1 first-round pick with it, and I was like, what? You trade a generational talent? Like a generational talent at the age of 25, but right before he could sign the richest contract in NBA history, all signs pointed that he was going to. And you're going to go without his knowledge and trade him for a 31 all-star, star in the league with 1 first-round pick attached. And don't forget about Max Christie. Like, what? That's the part that's just like, if we're going to trade him somewhere, you're going to trade him somewhere. Your camera is awesome right now. If you're going to trade him somewhere and he doesn't know about it, then man, you better be getting, the everything under the sun for him. And that's the thing. It's like really tough. Another layer of what's tough for Mavs fans today is if they truly did put him on the market and tried to see like what all they could get for him, then the package back that they could have gotten from another team would have probably been accepted a little bit more by the fan base. But no matter what the package is, it's not going to equal Luka Doncic. And Bobby Marks tweeting out, I've never seen so many team executives not involved in this trade. Stunned. That's the thing about it. That's the
All right. Do you want my insane answer to this whole thing?
What?
Nico's a double agent for the Lakers.
He's a clutch client.
Clutch client, LeBron, Nike, all of it. Is that to be perfectly honest, is that not on the table?
No, I don't.
That LeBron's paying him under the table to get Luka?
Listen, I do know that Nico loves Anthony Davis. Like, and
we do actually know that.
I even have this like tweet, and I'm probably going to go back and find it. And it's kind of funny. It's one of the times Lakers visited last year, and it's like Nico and Anthony Davis chopping it up forever.
Yeah.
They have a relationship and all the stuff. But at some point, like, it's tough because you want to just do the simple, okay, you just bringing in the guys you got relationships with, versus, the superstar generational talent in Luka. I'm sorry, I'm more well put together for a podcast typically. I just trying to grasp something like this is so difficult. And it feels kind of inappropriate to do like okay, well, what's next?
No, we're not doing that today. We're doing the I'm going back to what I said at the beginning.
What does this allow you to do now?
No, not doing that. I cannot believe Nico Harrison could be this dumb. So there has to be something that I don't know about this. Has to. There has to be something that we don't know beyond what was said. And beyond what was reported so far. Because he cannot be this dumb. Or he's a double agent for the Lakers. Those are my two options. He's either the dumbest general manager we've ever seen, which he's made so many good moves, I can't believe that would be the case. There's something else we don't know, or he's double agent. Those are the three things, right? There's not a fourth thing. What would be the fourth thing for him?
Man, I don't know.
Right? He's either the dumbest GM in NBA history.
He really, I don't know.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Made the worst move in NBA history tonight. Could have.
Okay, let me ask you this. What would make this trade worth it?
Luka becomes Embiid, where he just plays 30 games every year. You're running the treadmill of, all right, we just can't. He's never going to be healthy. We're never going to make a run because he's just never healthy, never in shape, all that. And you're like, all right, at least you got out of that, and he doesn't have any value. Because what would Embiid go for right now? But even Embiid is like in his 30s.
I'm just not ready to like equate him to Embiid yet. I think it's the other way. I think it's back on Dallas's side though. You thought you had pressure. You thought you had pressure to win a title before to prove to Luka. Oh, buddy, you definitely have pressure now to win a title, because if you don't win a title before AD is like old and washed and like
in
done,
2 years,
then this is going to be, studied in history. Like my daughter and like they're going to be learning this in like children's like history lessons. All right. And like, I just think it adds this is the ultimate pressure of you have to win a title. To me, this is the only way around it, because even if Luka is like Embiid, and you don't win a title, it's still not worth it. Like, I think the Mavericks have to win a title in the next 3 to 5 years.
No, 5 years.
With AD a center part of that, for this to be like, because you win a title, then it's like, okay, you won a title. It's hard to argue against a ring.
Okay, they have to do that. The impossible. I have another one. Going cross sport here. What if he's Andrew Luck? We've heard from Luka several times.
Lakers fans are like, look, these guys are saying he's going to retire. Don't counter.
I'm saying this is the only thing that would make this trade make sense. If you're a Lakers fan watching this right now, just know that we think that this is the dumbest trade in NBA history for the Mavericks, and that you're getting a generational talent that is absolutely amazing, that is going to come in and raise your floor completely. And I don't know what you guys are going to do at center, but there's so many insane things. LeBron had no idea this was coming. Shams just reported that. McMenamin reported that. LeBron had no idea. AD had no idea. Luka stunned about this trade.
Bullcrap that LeBron didn't know.
Okay. Here's the thing. Could Luka be Andrew Luck, where he deals with these injuries? He's been dealing with this injury for over a year. The same left leg, all these issues with left leg, and all these other leg issues, conditioning, all that's always been a problem. What if he just gets sick of it in like 5 years and stops playing basketball, plays out the rest of whatever the next contract he gets, and then he's done. And he's done at like 33, 34. Or like, not even that, 32. If he's Andrew Luck, then that would make sense. And if the Mavs have known him for this long and are like, hey, I don't think this guy's really committed to basketball. Look at the way he doesn't come in shape. Look at the way we've.
No, dude, this is the angle. This is the Bill Simmons angle. We're calling it right now.
That's it.
You have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself right now, why would a team trade a generational superstar? They must know something.
That is what I'm saying. I'm literally
know.
saying that. It's totally a bit, but I am 100% saying that right now because that's the only thing that would make sense in my brain is that he is Andrew Luck, that he's going to retire in like 4 or 5 years. And then all of a sudden you're like, or maybe less, maybe 3 years because he just gets tired of it.
I mean, I'm not shooting that down because because we've like joked about this before of like Luka. I mean, anytime he's talked about when people's throwing out like LeBron like milestones and stuff like that, because he's been on this like track, as far as accomplishment, he's like, I ain't playing that long. Like he's just like
every time he has said that.
Yeah, and I mean, if he pulls a Barry Sanders or an Andrew Luck, like it wouldn't shock me at all. So like,
I have another tweet.
So like that's the thing, but still, I mean, we're just sitting here like throwing different things out like that. Like, I mean, we're getting desperate for like reasons here. The only reason that we know that's reported so far is defense. And Nico Harrison, your commitment to defense, buddy. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I love defense. Okay. Love watching defense. If they're not keeping teams under 40 points a game moving forward, then I'm rioting. Okay. You better put together I
have another tweet for you. About an hour ago when it happened. Wait, what? From Super Bowl quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who is a Mavericks fan.
That's awesome.
And then he quote tweeted himself and said, "I'm sick right now." Is Nico secretly an Eagles fan? He's trying to throw Patrick Mahomes.
He's just throwing him off set here.
Brad Townsend also reported this is Nico's deal, and it took weeks to put together. So another thing, Nico works in the dang shadows because nobody, all these people are saying they didn't know it. LeBron didn't know it. Everything. That's what people are saying.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've mentioned this before about how Dallas doesn't let their stuff get out into the rumors.
They do not.
If this isn't the ultimate, yeah, they work in those shadows, that shadow life. Then I don't know.
Brad Townsend reported that the call to the NBA regarding the trade parameters and gaining league approval hasn't occurred yet. That's about 15 minutes from now.
Who has an EMP?
Can we do the Chris Paul veto? Would that be the craziest thing to happen in NBA history? For the trade to be vetoed somehow?
Silver, bring Stern back. I'm getting so many texts from random people right now.
I know my phone is. If you've been watching on YouTube or anywhere, you know my phone has been disintegrating this whole time.
Shout out to the one more thing I posted. three real trade targets.
Go listen to it. Was Max Christie one of them? You would have been right about that. I actually did talk about Max Christie a couple weeks ago as a trade target.
No, but yeah, I mean his Max Christie synergy numbers. No, I can't do it.
It's the worst trade in NBA history. There has to be another reason. I can't believe Nico would be this dumb. There has to be something else. He's either a double agent for the Lakers, he's the dumbest GM in NBA history, or they know something about Luka. Those are the only 3 things I can imagine. And so if you want more thoughts, we'll be back later today. We'll have a bunch more stuff coming up all the time on Locked On Mavs. Subscribe, follow us.
Hey, check out that Cavs game on Sunday.
Oh my gosh. Talk about a shook team. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.